everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop once again. We are trying to finish this ship off, and hopefully today is the day. The last episode we put the props on and the rudders. We got the boats on. Before that we've done the planes and other bits and pieces. So really what's left? Well, we got to fix up this end mast up here, and we also have to put the front one back on. And then we're going to put the cannons on, and then we're probably going to varnish the whole ship. So I reckon we'll be able to finish up in this episode. So first off, let's fix up the rear mast. So there's the rear mast, and I thought when I seen it in the sprue, that's the way it was meant to go. Now this is long dried, and this does need to be straightened. I've got to be careful because it is fragile. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try and use the glue to soften it. So just while I've got you on there, let's put the glue just here and the other side here to try and soften that one spot. And let's see if we can actually straighten that up. Okay, there's probably a better view for you and me. We're going to have to try and do this with two lots of tools here. So we've got two lots of tweezers going. Let's re-soften that just a little more. And I'm not saying this is going to work, but I do know that glue softens plastic. So with this set, I'm going to try and hang on to it. And the other set, I'm going to try and straighten it. Like that. Bit more. That's not bad, but we need to go a little more. Let's grab at that end. It's definitely softer. I don't want to ruin it either. Okay, it's okay that way. Let's fix it up the other way. Like that. Bit more. Now, it's not 100% perfect. You probably zoomed in quite a lot there. Let's just go a little more. It's probably a little too much. Yep, there we go. I'm just sort of sticking my head back, having a look at it from a different angle. And I think that's probably going to do that just there. All right, we may have marked a little bit, but while that's there, let's let that dry. Just while I was waiting for that to dry, I did knock off a rear rudder and had to re-glue it all over again. So we've got some more paint here. I'm getting this out for two reasons. The reason is we've got a mast here. Now, there's one here. There's one here. Now, I really didn't like that black paint that I used when I did this ship, and I think it kind of ruined it. And there's no other mast left. It's not like there's a spare one anywhere. So we have to kind of glue these on. I don't know if we can take the paint off. Not likely. So let's put this on as well. Now, the conundrum here is I kind of painted this black. And I got to tell you, I'll never use that black paint ever again. Maybe for spraying, but not for hand painting. It was terrible. So, kind of have two masts here. How big's the other one? Not bad. So I suppose we've got two options here. We want a really big one or a really small one. Let's not go too big, or is they the same? Well, they are the same. So which is a better one out of both? I'm going to say this one here is, so I'm going to drop some glue just there. And I was very sparing with that glue because I want to drop the mast on there. And then with the grey, I'm going to repaint over this paint because I don't like it anyway. I've got to repaint the back mast. And so while I'm painting that, I might as well paint this one. Because of the way I'm holding the ship, it wants to fall backwards. I kind of want a bit more glue on that. This will loosen it, of course. Yeah, just off camera, I'm going to straighten that up. So the ship is on the bench now. I'm just trying to straighten that mast up just for it to go off. I'm checking it front way, so it does need to go back that way a little bit. I don't mind if it's a little forward, but I don't want it too much forward. And then obviously it's got to come back. Oh shit, it's probably there now. So we're just about there. So we're going to have to let that go off as well. Okay, I've had to come back in because the rudder's off again. And while they're drying, because the plan was to paint them with this, the flag mast. But because I've had to wait for that to dry and wait for this to dry, it's been probably another 20 minutes. So what I've done is I've decided to move on from that just for a moment. I've taken all the main guns off. I've got the ship sitting upside down at the where I spray, and I'm going to put some varnish on right now to seal the bottom off. And then once the bottom's dry, we can then turn it around and put the varnish on the top. So there is my ship. Now I want to do the hull first, and I knew I can't sit this upside down, so I've had to keep it off. Now this is a little too high for what I want, but other things were too low, and I was just sort of looking around, although I think I might have spotted something else. Hang on. Now that is a little more like it. So because of the mast and we want to put the varnish on this, I've got to tip the ship upside down. So I didn't damage any of the main armory. I've taken them off. We've got the flags to worry about and not much else in between here. So if I take the ship up and roll it around like that, what do we have underneath that we have to worry about? We've got to worry about the little guns there and not much over here. So this is the side we have to worry about. So we don't want to knock those little guns off. That can go out a little further. If we put that down like that, we should be okay to varnish the hull. So there's my varnish. I'll get that ready to go in the gun. I did clean the gun out this morning before I've mucked around with this, so it should be ready to go. Okay, now I've got the varnish in the gun. I'll just test this very quickly for a minute. Okay, this should be right to go now. Now I've just spotted something right before we start. Hang on. So there is the ship, and I did forget to do this earlier. I knew all along it had to be done. When we did that black line, we had just a little bit of stuff just here, here, and really here. That's the only really thing we had to do. And I've just noticed a little bit on the end, but that could have been from mucking around with the ship the whole time. That's the only spot I'm not really happy with, so we're going to sort that out right now. So there's my spray paint black. And I do know it's quite thin. Be careful handling that stuff. It might be too thin to do a touch up on this, but I only just want to blacken that line out a little bit. Gee, I'd hate to spill that one. Gotta be careful of that too. See how I got paint on my fingers? And then you touch the ship and then you're in all sorts of trouble. So So be very careful if you're doing any touch-ups. Now I've got both hands on the bench. I'm in the big lens. It's probably a terrible brush. It is a terrible brush actually. Let's just get rid of that right now. Okay, let's try that again. So I've ditched the watered down stuff because I don't want to be mucking around with this. And I got this brush, because it's got the finest little hairs. You're in there? Yeah, you're in there. Right at the end of the brush, that I can virtually just put them on just like that. And then that is gone. There's a little one just here. Yep, gone. And that's all I'm after. I'm not after, a beautiful line or anything else. I mean, we kind of cheated a lot when we did this line anyway. So I'm just after making this stuff look good. And that's it. That's all we need. It's a little tiny bit just there. Yep, that got rid of it. Now, as far as paint-wise, I've used next to nil. And I'm only just using the brush. Let's get a bit more properly on the brush. Okay, there. Little tiny piece there. And a little bit at the front while we've already got the brush. And that's it. So I'm happy with that. And when we go away from here, we're not even going to see that. So it was just easily spotted while on the bench under the lights. So there we are all reset up again. And if we zoom in, you can't see that spot that was missing now. And that's all that I was after. So let's zoom back a little bit. And let's put some varnish on this. So I know the gun's all set up. I did test it before. But this varnish tends to block the gun up if you leave it waiting too long. Let's see how we go here. Probably could come in a little thicker. Let's do all the hull first. Let's go a little thicker if we can. Yeah, it's a tip again. I can't believe the tip is playing up. Just got my tip soaking in the thinners. It generally doesn't take long. It takes about maybe a minute or two for a done block. I'll unblock it, clean it out, and it'll spray a whole lot better. Okay, the tip is now clean. Let's have a look how she goes now. Oh, look at that. What a difference the tip makes. It's probably a little too fast now. Let's, wind it back just a little bit. Some varnish on there. Over the stickers, protect those. Let's a bit more on the hull. Are you kidding me? Now, I will say I haven't used this gun in a couple of weeks. And I did not leave it sitting in thinners. Here we go. That is way too fast now. Try that. Thank you. That's a whole lot better. It is varnish. It'll dry up clear. So there's one side. Let's do all of that properly. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better when we flip the ship around. Gee, it's really playing up today. What's going on here? Okay. I'd rather it out a little more than what I want than not enough. So Right, so that's kind of one side. We'll let that kind of go off for a minute while I turn it around. And sorry about that gun. It does play up a little bit from time to time, but once it's good, it's actually a good gun. So there it is, I've managed to turn it around, hopefully with no finger marks, but we'll get them on when we turn it around the top coat anyway. So let's continue on doing this with the rear of the ship. Do the hull again. You can never have too much on the hull, it just helps protect it anyway. What I find the hardest about varnish is it's really hard to see it going on. So I use the light a lot to help me, because I can see just exactly how wet it is going on. Now this is matte, so it should dry off rather nice. Can't really see here. I've got another light on this side, but not overly helping me. A bit more just here. And I think we're just about there. Let's do that boat while it's sticking out. So we'll let that go off. Oh yeah, I can see in the video it's glistening. Well, that varnish has now gone off completely. It probably looks a little shinier in the camera because I do have a light here and a light over there, and the light is just here. So, and that's why you're seeing that. So let's turn the ship over. So there's the ship turned over, and even though we're not really looking directly at the hull already looks 10 times better. So before we can paint this with the varnish, I just need to attack the mast here and the mast at the back. So I'm going to go over to the bench and do that right now. So there's our ship, and yeah, the mast was done from that really poor black paint. And I probably should have known better than to use it, but anyway. So I'm just mixing up the black paint now, which is probably why you can hear me shaking it away. I'm going to use some lacquer-based. Can we use lacquer-based on that? No, this is not lacquer-based. That is lacquer-based. Yeah, lacquer-based 12. Let's fire that one up. Oh. Okay, so there's my lid. It's got plenty of paint in there from shaking it up. There's my brush that I like. Now, it'll probably take a couple of coats to coat this. And I don't want to be too particular about it. I just want to get it on there. And I just really wanted it painted before I put the varnish on. So, without touching the anchor, thank you. Let's get that on. It seems to be working better if I brush upwards. It does. Let's try and go the other way. Let's turn the ship around. Did I just touch that there? No, I didn't. It's just, there's a bit of paint off the anchor. I just knocked that anchor massively while trying to turn the ship around. So rather than turn the ship around, let's see if I can just finish this off just while we're here. Put a bit more paint on there. Yeah, I'll see if I can flip the ship up. And we'll paint the other side of the mast without turning the ship around. Hopefully. That's the plan. That's it. Just to get rid of some of that nasty black. It's just, it was technically a mistake made by me to use that. But we can undo all mistakes. And I've said this in the past on other builds too. That, you know, you make a mistake, don't worry about it. So that's that one painted. Let's turn the ship around. Try not to knock anything else while we're at it. And let's paint. Oh, you're in the camera. let's paint this one as well. Now, you don't have to paint the whole lot. Let's just paint the top part of that mast there. There's nothing wrong with the bottom part, it's just the top part. So, and I'm trying to hang on to the ship and do this, and it's probably not the best look, but anyway, that's what we're after. Just a little bit more on that side. See if I can roll my wrist around a bit more. And just do a little bit more here. It's probably not the best just there because, you know, we use the tweezers to straighten it, but it's better straighten than not straighten. Okay, so that is now done. So let's go back to the paint booth. So we're back at the paint booth, and I think you'll agree that mast at the front there is a little better, not black on this occasion. The back one, you can't really see it. This looks fantastic even in this light here because that's had the varnish on there. So this ship is all together right now except for all the guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's get all them on. So there's 1 and 2 on. Let's put the next one on. So there's the last of the guns on this side. There's 3 missing, but when we spray in this direction here, we're not going to get all that anyway. We will have to turn the ship around. So we will put them on when we turn the ship around. So right now, let's varnish this side while we're at it. Let's see if I can zoom out a bit more there. Let's go about there. The gun's still got some varnish in it, so it should be right to go again, hopefully. Yeah. So let's concentrate on the floor. It's still coming out. It is. It's hard to see though, this stuff. And I don't overly want to flood everything, but I do. Now that's an issue. Hang on. So these are going to have to be varnished separately on tape. So let's take them back off. And they were always a problem. They've been a problem since we knew that how much they fall off. So let's put them aside for 1 second and we'll continue varnishing this. Let's fix this back up. So plenty in the boats, plenty on the top floors, making sure I don't spill that. We want varnish over the entire structure. Still coming out? It is, but it could come out a little more. That's better. Again, I can only tell by the glistening that it's coming out. It dried off rather nice. That's better. It's coming out just the way I like it now. It's flowing really good. Let's try and, you know, do some different angles while we're at it. Let's do that floor, let's do that mast. Let's even continue onto the hull this way. Let's do the back side there. Let's do the antennas. Plenty on there. Let's do the boats. Top floor. Spider. And what we'll do, while we're running hot, let's turn this thing around. So there it is turned around. We've lost no time there. So let's get the gun ready again, and while it's flowing out at the right pace that I like it, let's do the hull as well. Join that in. Now we don't need as much on this side because we kind of already sprayed from the other side. But the point of this is any plastics, we want to mat them all down. Let's do the mast this way. those boats. Yeah, do the hull a little bit more. I suppose you can have too much. Let's do the back one. Let's do the spider, boats. Those boats did come up a whole lot better with a bit of varnish on it. So you're probably going to miss some things, but that's okay. Now you don't have to varnish it. I just like to varnish it. So, and there we are. We're just about there. So I'll get some tape ready, and while we're waiting for that to go off, I'll put some tape here, and we'll put the 6 guns here, and we'll varnish them so they match. Just while waiting for it to dry and I'm setting the tape up, let's have a quick look. We can zoom in more. Let's try. It's probably a little too much. Yeah, it's too much. How's that? It's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so I'll set the tape up. Let's go back to 1. So the bait's still drying off in the background. Let's concentrate on these and put some varnish on those. Okay. Hopefully, I'm going to spray from a long way back because I don't want to flood them, but I do want to get all the way around them. So you go that way. I'll come over you here and spray back that way. Technically I should spray it back on the back side, which I can do with my thumb. So pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that also. And I think we're just about there. So we'll wait for all of them to go off and I'll come back. Okay, it's probably been at least 40 minutes. I've just watched a show on YouTube. And I know this is well and truly dry. I've just taken it over to the light. And I can see even the guns and that are all dry. So let's take it all back to the bench and put the last few bits and pieces together. Okay, so we're back at the bench, and just as a bit of a recap, there's the ship. That is 47 and 48 was actually the last thing on the instruction manual. So all that we need to do now basically is just put these cannons back where they belong. Cannons, guns. So there we have it. I've just finished off all of the guns here. Now I did just remember something that I was going to do, and I don't actually know if I can do it now, now that it's been varnished, but I will try it. So I wanted to get the black accent colour out. Let's give that a quick little shake. That's it. And I've just realised I've forgotten it all the way up until now. Let's move some of those paints, give me a bit more room. Because I can't overly flip this ship around because everything falls off it, basically. Not everything, but those 6 guns can, and I don't really want to glue them down. So I've got some accent black here, and I'm going to take as much off as I can, and I just want to touch the screen here. Yeah, that's quite nice. I was tempted to do the staircase, but if I do one staircase, I have to do them all. And I can tell you there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4. There's too many. And there's another radar up the other end, so let's turn it around. Actually, there's 2 up this end, so got to be careful with the accent black where you touch it. Let's not put my finger in the way. Let's just do this one-handed. Okay. Being extremely careful. That's it, it's one. Do we need to change it? Do we need to redub it? Probably not. It's hard to do this. Yeah. And I think we're going to call it. That's probably just enough. Okay. So there we have it. I think that's the ship done. Okay, what else is there to do? There's probably not really much else to do. Some would argue that it needs flags and stuff, but I'm not a big fan of the flags. Just, where are we? So the prop's done. I haven't knocked them off again. No, I have knocked those rudders off, I think 4 times now. So there we have it. This is my version of a quick version or an easy version of the Bismarck. You've seen me do the whole lot. So let's take it over to the photo bench and we'll do a quick little video on it and take some photos. I will say thank you to all the subs and everyone else who have come along on this journey. I have noticed there's more subs now. Thank you very much. And I hope you're enjoying some of the content. What is that I just spotted? What is that? There. Yeah. Probably my grey hair. Okay. You know, I was just getting set up to show you this. And as I put it on here, the ship rocked. And I thought to myself, oh, what happened to the stand? And I'm sure part of you all thought the same thing. So, before we can go any further, and it'll probably only take 5 minutes, let's grab the stand out and let's do the stand as well. Oh, look at, we just missed the other end there. So, it looks pretty good, but it's not stable, as you can see. Wants to rock around.